BTS and aespa at Tokyo Dome and TVXQ or 동방신기 at Nissan Stadium. Today, we want to take a look at K-pop idols taking the stage at major venues across Japan and also have a peek into how Japanese groups are doing in Korea. For that, we connect with our K-Correspondent Claire, a content creator with lots of experience in Japan, who will tell us more about the local K-pop concert atmosphere. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Claire.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on the show, Claire. So, we're seeing more K-pop idols performing on huge venues in Japan. We just had BTS drawing major attention just a few days ago at the Tokyo Dome. So, how do you view the trend and how popular are K-pop acts currently in Japan?
Oh, that's such a great question. Actually, it's so remarkable to see how K-pop has grown truly into a mainstream presence in Japan, especially given how strong and influential Japanese pop culture is already. And performing at venues like Tokyo Dome has always been considered a really major milestone, even for top Japanese artists and athletes. So for international acts, particularly K-pop idols, to consistently fill these spaces really speaks to their impact and popularity. On the ground in Japan, K-pop feels incredibly visible and well received right now. The fan base is not only large, but very dedicated, and there's a strong sense that K-pop has moved beyond being a niche trend to becoming a very established part of mainstream entertainment.
Right.
Right, and whenever I report on idols going to Japan, it's usually the Tokyo Dome that holds this symbolic meaning almost. Now, what does it mean for K-pop idols to perform there, do you think? And could you also share details such as venue scales and notable international artists who have performed there? And how frequently are K-pop concerts held there, as far as you know?
Yeah, certainly. Actually, Tokyo Dome is often called the dream stage for Japanese artists and athletes. So it's one of the most iconic venues in the country. And like you asked, the seating capacity it holds over like 55,000 people. So performing there definitely is a major milestone and a strong sign of mainstream success. For K-pop idols, I think it carries an even more symbolic weight because it shows both their popularity and how well they've connected with the Japanese audience. Many artists such as Coldplay or Maroon 5 I've seen performing there, and I've actually been to their concert. From what I've seen, I feel like K-pop concerts and related events are held quite frequently, around 5 or more than 10 times a year, and mostly they're held in Tokyo or Osaka.
Right. Speaking of frequency, I think just this weekend, aespa is going to hold their concert at Tokyo Dome April 25th and 26th. And also, not Tokyo Dome, but in Yokohama's Nissan Stadium, also 동방신기 will perform on the same days as well. So really, that shows how frequently K-pop acts are in Japan.
That's right, that's right. And how have Japanese fans, to your knowledge, been responding to these concerts? Like, what's the overall reaction to K-pop performances, to, like, example, the ones you've been to?
Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah, definitely. I feel like while Japanese pop culture still holds a very strong presence domestically, I feel like K-pop has clearly become one of the most popular and fast-growing trends in Japan. And when concerts are held, many fans are very genuinely excited to see their favorite idols perform, and the response is often very enthusiastic. What's very interesting to see is that people who aren't deeply familiar with K-pop really react positively to these performances, and events such as like Water Bomb or other different K-pop related events can engage to a broader audience, which I think is very thanks to their high energy and strong production value.
And but Claire, concert atmospheres can vary quite a bit by country. So based on your experience, how would you describe the differences between concerts in Korea and Japan?
That's also such a great question. I feel like I really don't feel a huge difference overall because audiences in both Korea and Japan genuinely enjoy the high energy performances and are very engaged. But I feel like if there's anything, maybe the fan chants in Korea tend to be a bit louder, a little bit more expressive. But I think that also comes down to language barrier and familiarity. So in Japan, the crowd might feel a bit more reserved at times, but I feel like this is just pure appreciation and the enthusiasm is definitely still there. For example, when I went to a Twice concert in Tokyo, I was really surprised to see that the fans were very engaged with like buying goods or talking about their favorite idol. But when they were more looking at the concert, they were more reserved, and it seemed like they were just genuinely appreciating the presence of their idol out there.
I see. And speaking of Twice, Twice is huge in Japan, especially because they have Japanese members as well. So yeah, that's great that you had that experience there as well, Claire. But on the other hand, we've also seen Japanese idol groups performing in Korea recently. So what differences do you notice between K-pop idols and Japanese idols in terms of maybe their style and appeal these days?
That's such an interesting question. Yeah, I've really noticed that this cultural exchange is happening, and I really enjoy seeing this. And I think the biggest difference is the presence of kawaii culture. I think Japanese idols really have that strong presence in them. And when I first came to Japan a few years ago, I immediately noticed a clear difference in styling, especially in clothing, makeup, and overall like beauty aesthetics. And I think it carries strongly into Japanese idol culture as well. For example, whereas K-pop idols feel more chic and minimalistic with a focus on sleek and global trends, I feel like J-pop idol styling often leans more to a playful, kind of feminine aesthetic, almost kind of like a princess kind of concept. And I think that contrast gives each scene its own unique charm and appeal.
Right, and we're also seeing a lot of Japanese idols expanding into the Korean market, whether it's Japanese idols joining K-pop groups or such as J-pop girl groups, such as Cutie Street, entering this market here in Korea. They have quite a distinct characteristic compared to K-pop idols, as you just mentioned as well. How have Korean fans been responding to them, in your opinion? Do you think it's something new that Korea is really getting on the wagon with, or do you think it's just something like in a niche area?
Well, that's actually a very interesting question. And I think overall, it's very positive, and it's interesting to see how positively they're being received by the general Korean public. I think compared to a few years ago, the reaction feels much more open and enthusiastic, because when I first introduced J-pop idol culture to my friends in Korea, like around 4 years ago, many saw it as a very niche and unfamiliar kind of culture. But now groups like Cutie Street are getting genuine interest, and there's a growing appreciation for Japanese idol. And I think even like anime inspired aesthetics within mainstream Korean culture. So it's very great to see that this cultural exchange is being accelerated and going on.
Well, I'd love to see some maybe joint Korea, K-pop, J-pop concerts at these huge venues in Japan and Korea in the future. But thank you very much, Claire, for connecting with us today. And yeah, keep in touch. Thanks.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Walter, as always. So we're going to have you back here later this week.
See you this week.